Good evening, everyone. I'd like to start by saying what an honour and a privilege it is to come over from Perth for such an event. I've had a long and very rewarding association with Jim, one where it certainly made me a better advisor, but one which has also given me the tools to have a better business in the way we engage and manage our clients. And that's what tonight is all about. It's the client, it's the consumer. To us, it's the Australian public trying to reach more certainty in their lives from the advice that we deliver. And that's why I believe that this book is timely in the fact that it's very important to the consumer of 2014. Because things have to change, don't they? At the moment, consumers are not going to seek advice, we know that. There's a number of reasons why they're not seeking advice. I believe it's a credibility issue, it's confidence, and it's awareness. So Jim, I believe this book's going to go a long way to fulfilling that. Tonight I'm going to talk a little bit about, from a practical point of view, from the theory behind Jim's book. What I want to talk about really is the three ways I've engaged clients throughout the years, starting from when I first started my career in the bank. Now, when going from accounting into financial planning, I was told you should go to the bank because the bank provided the best training. Now, the technical training was great, but they also provided another sort of training, and that was the sales training. So very quickly, I was involved in a sales culture. And I'll never forget the words of my first boss when he started talking to myself and the other new recruits starting in the bank. He said, financial planning is not told, financial planning is sold. So alarm bells went off straight away. But I persevered with the bank, and according to the bank, I did very well because I reached all their sales targets. But I knew the bank wasn't for me, and I just certainly didn't want to be a salesperson. Which then led me to the second method of way of engaging clients. So I went and started my own business. Now, I had no skills to start my own business. I really didn't know much about business life at all. So when you're facing that situation, you revert back to what you do really well. And for me, personally, and for my business partner at the time, it was rapport building. We had a knack with building rapport. And once we built rapport, we were able to come through what we did to get the clients to where they needed to get to. Now, the what was easy for me as well, because coming from an accounting background, the what was tax planning, it was investment planning, retirement planning, and in the end, it was self-managed super funds. So we built rapport, then we came through what we could do. And that lasted a long time, almost 7 years. But in that 7 years, we found we couldn't find other advisors to replicate our career. And the reason being was that we had all the relationships, and we had the experience, and we were really good at rapport building. So it was very hard from a business point of view. The other thing I had that I also had in the bank was that I had a client value proposition, in my mind, that didn't really deliver any value. So there had to be another way, and thankfully there was another way, which led me to the third type of engagement. It was around this time that Martin mentioned when I first met Jim, and I came over to Sydney to attend their two-day extensive workshop. Now, within the first hour, a light bulb went off in my head. But straight away I realised I was learning some simple things that were going to change my life in advising forever. Things like, well, I should be talking less and listening more. And if I was doing that effectively, in my engagement meetings, the discovery meetings, I'd be listening for 85% of the time. Now, up until then, I was talking for 85% of the time. Because I thought the clients wanted to hear from me. I'm the expert. But what I know now is that, of course, it's what the client is saying, which is important. So now we even tape record all our meetings, we capture everything, and base our relationship on what the client is saying. We're discovering why the clients are coming to see us. We're asking the bigger questions, the deeper questions around their aspirations, their ambitions, their desires, their hopes and their dreams. And through finding out why the clients are coming to see us, we can actually take time then to work out what we can do as an advisory firm to get them to their most desired outcomes. So we know why, we know what, then we can come in and actually price and recommend a price to the client, and propose a price to the client. It's not linked to any product, it's not percentage based. Sure, it's based on the complexity, but it's more around the value the client's going to receive by us getting them to their most important aspirations. So, I'll give a real life example that I think Jim gives some in his book. But 2 years ago, we met with a client. When you meet with a client, you ask them what their goals are and so on. Almost always, you'll get travel. Now, in the bank and in my own business before, I would have written down travel and I may have put a dollar figure to travel. But in delivering greater advice and asking deeper, more broader questions, we found out that this client, this gentleman, he had a piece of land over a little island near Sicily. I won't repeat the name because it's very hard for me to pronounce. It's been handed to him for generations. Now his burning desire with this piece of land was to rebuild the family home that had been destroyed in World War II. His great aspiration was to take his entire family, he's Italian, So his entire family met children, partners, grandchildren, take the entire family over to Italy to spend a summer in Italy at the home. So, was that a great relationship? Of course it was. All of a sudden now we've got a client that is engaging us year in, year out to achieve this aspiration. And if he could achieve it, that meant that he was providing a legacy to his family long term. So you can see the difference, and this is what Jim's pointing out in the book, between what is happening out there and what's happening when you're actually getting a certainty-based advisory relationship. Now, recently, as was mentioned by Mark, we've been quite fortunate to win a few awards, the most notably being the Australian Financial Advisory Practice of the Year. Now I know, and everyone in my firm knows, that we couldn't have achieved this without Jim, without Jim's influence. So why I mention it is because I believe that these awards are more proof around, by delivering a certainty-based advice approach to clients, it just works. It's so incredibly powerful. So tonight, it gives me great pleasure to launch Seeking Certainty. Thanks, Jim.